Well, hello, my friends. Here we are together again to create another piece of artwork. As always, we're going to preface that piece of artwork with a little bit of conversation, starting with our 7 elements of art. So please repeat these 7 words after me. Line, shape, color, texture, form, space, and value. So in our drawing that we're going to work on today, we're going to use some lines. We're going to use lines to create shape. We're also going to use that special line, the horizon line, to help us create some space. Now remember that with a horizon line, that line goes all the way across the paper, and everything above that line is the sky, and everything under that line is the ground. Now once we have all those things drawn, we are going to switch medias so that we can create some color and add some color to the page, and also use that color to fill all of the space on the page. That being said, let's keep our conversation moving. Moving us right along to our principles of design. Again, please repeat these 7 words after me. Balance, unity, pattern, rhythm, emphasis, contrast, movement. So in our drawing today, emphasis is going to be really important. Creating that main focal point for our drawing, that thing that we want people to pay attention to. We're also going to use some pattern, having some colors that repeat their order over and over and over again. And we're going to create a little bit of movement. We're going to create some lines for the viewer's eyes to follow around the piece. That being said, let's get over to a blank piece of paper and get after this drawing. So, as with most things that we draw, the very first decision that we need to make is how we're going to orient our paper. So right now, when my paper is like this, we say that my paper is in landscape. If I turn or spin my paper like this, then we say that that paper is in portrait. For today's drawing, I think it would be best if we work in landscape. So the book that we read today was all about bees. So a bee is going to be our emphasis. Now bees are an incredibly important animal for humans and all the other animals on the earth. We need bees. They help pollinate plants. They help us grow our crops. They help keep us fed. Now when drawing a bee, as the book said, a bee's body has 3 parts. It has a head, which we can use a circle for. It has a thorax, which we can use another circle for. Now notice here with this, these shapes overlap each other. This circle covers up part of that oval. And then finally, we have the abdomen, which is the back part of the bee. For that one, we use kind of a long, skinny oval. Now, that's not all the parts that a bee has. They have eyes, these ovals. They have antenna. We use some kind of curvy lines like that. They have wings. They have a double wing. They have 6 legs. Now the legs on a bee all come from the thorax, which is the middle part of the body. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have the 3 legs on the front side of the body and then the 3 legs on the back side of the body. Now bees do have a stinger. However, most honeybees, the ones that we count on, they won't sting you unless they feel like they are in danger. So most of the time, if you see a bee and you leave that bee alone, that bee will in turn leave you alone. Now, bees have stripes on them. So that's our next step here for this emphasis, to create some stripes on these bees. And when we do that, again, we want to make sure that our lines come all the way across our bee. So that one is correct, but is this one? No, I did that wrong. And you see how it's wrong because it doesn't go all the way across. And we'll continue that all the way down our bee's body. Now, with our emphasis, we mentioned movement. So bees fly, and they fly really fast. They are trying to get from one flower to the next 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 flower. So we're going to use some lines to help us create and show that movement. So what we want to do here is we want to use kind of a dotted line. And what this is going to show is kind of the path that our bee has flown. Now, when you do yours does not have to go the same way and to the same places that mine did, because your bee might not be flying in the same path as mine. It's very possible. So, as we mentioned, what is it that the bees are out here looking for? What are they flying around trying to find? You say flowers? That's right. They're looking for flowers. That's where they get their nectar to eat and their pollen and all these things that they need to eat to help pollinate, to make new plants, and to make honey. So we need to add a flower for our bee to eat, to land on. So we've done this before. So we're going to start with a circle, and then we're going to add these oval petal shapes. Now again, flowers have all different kinds of shapes for the petals on them. So this is the shape that I'm using for my flower, for my bee. It does not have to be the same shape that you use for your flower, for your bee. Now the stem part of the flower, that part we do want to do the same. So when we do the stem, we want to make sure that we use two lines. That way we have a place to color. And now the last thing we need to draw is to create our space, to add our horizon line and create our space. So bees fly, so I want my bee to look like it's in the air. So I'm going to put my horizon line down really low on my paper. And I put some wiggle to it, because the horizon line doesn't always have to be a straight line. It can have wiggle and movement to it as well. Now from here, we're ready to color. Now, normally when we see bees, what color are the stripes on the pattern of their stripes? That's right, they're yellow and black. So I'm going to make my bee yellow and black. But you can make your bee any set of colors you want. If you want a hot pink and green bee, you make a hot pink and green bee. If you want a blue and orange bee, or a purple and yellow and bee, or a red and green colored bee, you make that bee. Your bee does not have to be the same as mine, but I love bees. They're one of my favorite animals, so I want to make my bee the way a bee would actually look. So there's my bee. Now notice too, I chose to take my little lines, my movement lines, and to trace over those with a black to make them really dark so that I can see them even after I color everything else. So next thing to look at is going to be the flower in the background. So the flower, and then the sky and the ground. Now again, sky's not always blue. If you want to make it blue, that's fine, but it's not always blue. Sometimes it's gray, purple, black, pink, lots of different colors. Same with the ground. Grass is not always, or the ground is not always covered with grass. Sometimes it's covered with dirt, sometimes it's covered with sand. If you want to do blue sky with the green grass, that's totally fine, but it doesn't always have to be that way. So next thing we need to do is the color and the background, or the flower, not the color. Color the flower and then finish the background so that we use all of our space. So I'm gonna knock that out right now. And here we have our completed piece. All of our space has been used. Our emphasis is large in the middle and has unique colors. We've used our horizon line appropriately. We've colored everything above the horizon line with a sky color, everything below the horizon line with a ground color. We have our movement that we've created with these short dotted lines. We have our bee food, our flower here that our bee is flying towards as quickly as it can to get something to eat. And this, my friends, finished drawing. Good luck to you. Hope you've enjoyed creating the piece as much as I have. And as always, happy arting.